Someone who commented on my last YouTube video asked me to say something about my own mental health and what it was like before and after chelating. So I'm going to do that. Here goes. I never had a diagnosis of any real mental health problem like bipolar disorder or anything like that, but I suffered horribly from anxiety and depression. Um, I think that anxiety is it's kind of a physical thing or a chemical thing, and you have it and it needs something to latch onto. When I had it, I would wake up in the morning and check my mood to see how I was doing, and I'd say, oh, I'm okay, and then all of a sudden this anxiety would sort of come from nowhere and land on me, and then I'd have it for the whole day, just this constant gnawing in the back of my mind that went on and on. It was like a dog with a bone. In India, it would latch on to the topic of my overstaying my visa. I was worried that I'd get kicked out of the country for overstaying my visa. And of course, it always had a wonderful thing to latch onto in the issues of money problems. I always worried about money. I'd look around me when I lived there, and there'd be other people in exactly the same situation as I was, and they seemed happy as clams. So I always wondered, why I had to have this constant gnawing anxiety in the back of my mind all day. As far as depression, the first big episode I had with depression was when I returned from India after living there for about 12 years. I came back with my children and was staying with my parents. And my father took me to his dentist, and the dentist x-rayed my teeth and said, oh, that's a terrible job they did over there. We have to redo all that. And he redid all my amalgam fillings and put in new amalgam. And in retrospect, I didn't put two and two together at the time, but in retrospect, I had a kind of a nervous breakdown and cried for about 2 weeks every day. I got over that and continued on with the gnawing and the occasional bouts of depression. But in my 50s, I had a really difficult, stressful business that I ran. It was a food processing business, and it was a really difficult one. And I came down with a terrible bout of depression. I would cry. Insurance ads on TV were enough to make me cry if it had a good, pathetic story. And then I'd get all anxious when I watched an ad for banks because I'd start worrying about money. I asked my neighbor who was a doctor, for help, and he gave me a prescription for Paxil. And the Paxil gave me a panic attack. I thought I was just getting worse with depression, so I didn't call him back about it immediately. But anyway, the panic attack had me so bad that I was standing in the corner of the living room facing the wall. That's all I could do, with my kids all around me wondering what's going on with mom and all worrying and everything. And the anxiety fixed on an insurance payment that was coming up, a big insurance payment that was coming up for the business, which I didn't have the money to meet. Finally, I called back the doctor, and he said, oh no, stop taking the Paxil right away. And he gave me an anxiolytic, and then he put me on Prozac, which I didn't react to badly. And I was able to take that for several years, I think. But that experience made me understand how people can commit suicide from mental anguish. I didn't think that I was going to commit suicide, but I understood how people could do that. The other thing that went wrong with my mental health, I don't know if this is considered a mental health diagnosis, but I started getting dementia. My daughter, that was in my late 60s, I guess. My daughter ran an elder care agency for many years, and she's told me that she thought I was coming down with early onset dementia, and that she and her husband were scared to have me babysit my grandchildren. So now I'm 73, and I don't think I've got dementia anymore. I certainly hope not. I'm not going to get it. I don't think so. I feel pretty good, and my kids tell me I don't have dementia at all. I get anxious about stuff in a normal sort of way, but it doesn't last long and it goes away, and I think that's just normal. Sometimes I get depressed, but not very often. So, to all you out there who are struggling with this kind of thing, I hope this inspires you to buckle down and do this protocol and make it your new way of life until you don't have problems with anxiety and depression anymore, the way I don't.